Hello, Geminis, and welcome to this, your April 1st through April 15th reading and predictions. Thank you so much for joining me. How's everyone feeling? We have just come through the spring equinox. We've just had a wicked full moon. We are heading into a full solar eclipse. Oh, yeah, and there's something about a comet. Anyway, while I recognize that there are a number of different celestial events and energies that are going to be affecting us, it is not my area of expertise, and thus I will not comment further. But I would actually really like it if you would leave me a comment down below and let me know how all of these events have been affecting you. Yes, I personally have been affected as well, but I'm not going to go into all of the gory details. All right, Gemini, I have a special request. If you wouldn't mind watching this video all the way until the end, there are two reasons for this. First of all, I do have a special treat for you at the very end, wherein I'm going to pull cards that have yes, no answers on them. How many of us walk through our lives every single day saying, oh my goodness, I need an answer. Is it yes or is it no? Should I stay or should I go? So at the end of this video, I will be pulling cards that have yes, no answers, and it will provide you with an opportunity to get an answer to your burning question. The other reason is I am this close to being monetized. Now, those of you who have been watching me the last couple of weeks, you'll know that I'm very close to being monetized. I need a few more subscribers, but I also need the watch hours. So please let this video play all the way until the end. You'd really help me out. Gemini, in your last reading, I'm just going to pull up my notes here and see what came up in your last reading. Make a list and get things done. Okay. How many of you actually made a list and got some stuff done? Um, what else came up? Oh, a possible mentor or partnership coming in was being indicated for you. So has that come to fruition? Have you met a mentor? Are you considering a partnership in your business? Are you developing a new business or making shifts in your career that may involve a partnership? Let me know. Let's dive in. Yep, I'm getting told to put that deck down and go to this deck. So I will listen. All right. So where are the Geminis at now? What's going on for Gemini as we move into the month of April? Oh, we've got some really powerful energies moving through for you. I do want to note that in your last reading, there was something in my notes about timing. Let me just pull it up again. Yeah. No time to sit and wait. Action is necessary, was what came up in your last reading. And now we have another card coming in for you, the Nine of Pentacles, which is an indication that something is ripe for the picking. The timing is right for you to move forward. And right next to the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Chariot. The Chariot is about making a decision and taking action on it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you had possibly even these same identical cards coming out last month. Gemini. Something is right for the picking, but you have to make a decision first, and then it is going to come racing towards you with this Chariot. Really, really exciting. Now, the reason that you may not have made the decision yet is the other card that I have here for you and where you're at now is the Moon. The moon is about cycles and phases, and we all know that we go through cycles and phases ourselves. We are affected by the full moon and the new moon. I started off your reading talking about celestial events and how I am aware that they affect us, but because they affect everybody so differently, and it's not my area of expertise, I didn't get more deeply into that. But the moon coming up in your where you are at now is an indication that you are absolutely being affected by the cycles and the phases that are happening right now, both celestially as well as within yourself. And I want to point out here that Gemini, you have a decision to make. You are caught in a duality right now. And the reason that I'm saying that is on the Chariot card, you have a black horse and you have a white horse. This is an indication that you need to make a decision one way or the other. You need to commit to that decision, and then you need to allow the chariot to race into your life with the consequences of that decision. Now, I'm not using the word consequences in the negative. I'm using it as in the effects of your decision. Whatever decision you make, the chariot is going to bring the effects of that decision to you in a very big hurry. And again, the decision that you need to make, I want to say, is probably based on either your perception of a negative or a positive outcome. And again, the moon has a dark side and a light side, a white side and a black side. And also represented on this card, we have the white and the dark representations, right? Right here of the moon. We have two wolves, a white wolf and a black wolf, howling at the moon. Gemini, you need to make a decision. I can't be more specific than this. And this Nine of Pentacles coming in right in between here is saying the time is ripe for the picking. Look at the character on the card. All of her pentacles are all hanging from the tree and they are ready to be harvested. And I know that for some of you, you're struggling against this decision because it's perceived as this could be a good outcome, that could be a bad outcome, and you're being pulled in two different directions, and there's a strong duality going on. Let's move fully into the month of April. These were the cards for where you are at now here at the end of March as I'm pulling these cards for you. And let's see what comes up for you with regards to what you are focusing on. Now, remember, whatever you are focusing on, wherever you are putting your energies, is what you are going to manifest. So let's see where you're putting your energies. Let's see if you're going to make a decision once and for all and have the opportunity to move forward. Now, I have quite a number of cards that came jumping out. I'm going to collect them all up. And we're going to mix these up because this is far too much for you to be focusing on. If you are focusing on this much, you're probably going to end up with an Eight of Wands in here somewhere. Eight of Wands is about trying to juggle too much. All right, so what are the Geminis focusing on moving into the month of April? We need one or two cards, please. All right, so we have two cards that have jumped out. Let's take a peek. All right, we have the Four of Winter, the Three of Autumn, which is the Three of Pentacles, and we have the Princess of Winter, also corresponds to the Page of Swords. The Four of Winter is the card that I like to call the Quiet Hermit. So in the tarot, we have the major arcana. They kind of yell at us. They're in our face. They're letting us know that their message is very important. And in the minor arcana, like the Four of Winter or Four of Swords, we have cards that still have similar messages to that of the major arcana, but they are more subtle and perhaps whisper instead of yell at us. And this is the Quiet Hermit. This is the card of it is time for you to withdraw, Gemini. It's time for you to put down the remote, put down the phone and the screens, stop with the distractions, go within, and find the answer to your duality. That's essentially what this card is saying. The only way that you are going to find the answer that you are looking for is in self-reflection and quiet and meditation. That moves me into the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles or Three of Autumn is about following your passion. Really, really figuring out what it is you want, what you want to do, where you want to be, what you want to manifest, and going after it. And finally, you have this Princess of Winter, also known as the Page of Swords. This particular character brings you information you need to hear, but you don't want to hear the information. It is valuable information, but it may be kind of hard to hear. So, this is in your focus. This is where you need to be putting your attention and energies. You need to be listening. Even if the message is something that you don't want to hear, maybe you need to hear it. You are focusing on narrowing down exactly what it is you want to be doing, what you are passionate about, that, decisions here. And the only way that you can find that is to go within. So focus on that. All right, Gemini, let's move into your difficult influences and challenges for the first half of April. Difficult influences and challenges. Okay, so we have three cards that have jumped out. Let's look at them in the order in which they came out. You have the Three of Pentacles again. You have the Ace of Cups. And you have the Four of Cups. All right, in your difficult influences, you have the Three of Pentacles. You also happen to have the Three of Pentacles in your focus. Interesting that you have the same card in what you're focusing on, in addition to having it in your difficult influences and challenges. It's not uncommon when we have a decision that we need to make, as represented by the Moon and the Chariot here. I think the issue that you're having at this point, Gemini, is trying to determine what you're actually passionate about and what you want to go after. The best place to discover that is with this quiet hermit, in that quiet contemplation. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is about new beginnings, new emotional beginnings, possibly a new partnership or friendship or mentorship, mentor-mentee relationship. But it's in your difficult influences. What's that telling me? It's telling me, Gemini, that in this duality and in this difficult situation that you're currently experiencing about needing to make this decision, determining what you are passionate about, you're bumping up against actually taking help from someone. And perhaps I know why. Perhaps the reason that you're bumping into not accepting help, because the Three of Pentacles is actually about wanting about help as well, help and support, but it's also about finding your passion. But this card coming up in your difficult influences, the Ace of Cups in your difficult influences, is about accepting a partnership, accepting help. Well, maybe the reason that that's in your difficult influences and you're not accepting it is because there's information that you're hearing that you don't want to hear. You need to hear it, Gemini, but you don't want to hear it. And you have the Four of Cups in your difficult influences. Four of Cups is the card of balanced budgets. This is the card of make sure you don't have more going out financially than what you have coming in. Now, here we go. I have to do this. Disclaimer. I am not a certified financial advisor. I am not allowed to give you formal financial advice. What I can give you, Gemini, is common sense advice. Common sense advice with this coming up in your difficult influences is make sure you are balancing your budget. If that means cutting back in some areas in order to be able to afford the necessities, then that's what this card means. This card has an additional meaning. The additional meaning of this card is a card that I call the coveting card sometimes. It's a card of comparing our lives to someone else's and craving what someone else has. And what that actually does to us energetically is it reduces or diminishes our own energy. If we're coveting and craving what somebody else has, what we're actually telling ourselves is we're not good enough because we want what someone else has. So this card coming up in your difficult influences is also another piece of the puzzle as to why this decision that you need to make is holding you back. Because if you're craving what somebody else has, you're diminishing your own capacity to be able to achieve what you really want. What you really want is what you're passionate about, with this Three of Pentacles coming in not once but twice. But you have to follow your path. You have to follow your journey. You can't be coveting and craving what someone else has and trying to follow their path and their journey. All right, messages from the universe for Gemini. That one's on the floor. Darn it. Okay, so you will notice as I drop the deck, we have a group of cards that stuck up. So I'm going to pull those out as well. Messages from the universe. Patience is a virtue. Why would you have got this card? Oh, right, because you had the Nine of Pentacles letting you know that the timing is right for something, but you are procrastinating making a decision. When you procrastinate making a decision, you require patience because things don't come to you as quickly as you may have anticipated because you postponed making a decision. That's what I'm picking up. Now, normally I don't interpret that card that way, but that's what came up for me kind of intuitively. Understand your body. You know what? This card is important because it's another way of saying don't be coveting and craving what someone else has. Understand your body, understand what's right for you. Appreciate your talents. Don't be coveting what other people have. I absolutely. This card coming up in your difficult influences is absolutely letting me know why this decision is becoming a frustration. Appreciate your talents. Recognize your abilities. Three of Pentacles, twice, is about you finding your passion, you finding your path, you walking your journey, you riding your chariot, not somebody else's, Gemini. Really important. Everyone has value, okay? Including the Princess of Winter, who is bringing you news that you need to hear, but you don't want to hear it. You don't want to listen. Everyone has value. All right, let's look at what's unexpected. What's coming up as unexpected for the Geminis. Ooh. Page of Pentacles, Ten of Wands. Yeah. Okay. We have another piece of the puzzle here for you, Gemini. We have the Ten of Wands. This is another piece of the puzzle with regards to what you are currently experiencing. Sorry, there's a reflection there. Page of Wands is the card of burdens. It is the card of feeling like you are carrying around this big, huge burden, right? Look at the character. The poor character is trying to carry all 10 wands at the same time. Okay. The thing is that we need to recognize and realize, and why this is in your unexpected, is because a lot of the time, the burdens that we are carrying, the burdens we are bearing, are not ours to bear. So, this is part of your lesson in your journey right now, Gemini, of determining what burdens am I bearing the brunt of? And what burdens could I kind of spread around and share around? Because some of it's not all mine. And that goes back to this Four of Pentacles again in your difficult influences about balancing a budget. So if you do live with other people, are you bearing the burden of their financial responsibilities as well as your own? Just something to think about and look at. So, definitely for the beginning of April here, you're going to want to explore your budgets, explore if you're craving and coveting what others have. You're going to want to explore whether you are shunning or pushing away help that is being offered to you. You're going to want to make sure that you're not carrying around somebody else's burdens. You have the Page of Pentacles coming in here. Page of Pentacles is about good news about finances. He brings good news about finances. Granted that he can be a little bit rough around the edges. All of the pages in the deck are a little bit naive. So when the Page of Pentacles appears, he does bring good news about your finances, but he also has the caveat or the message, don't spend the money before it's in the bank. You may receive good news about it, but it may be a long time before it actually comes to you, right? Chariot. Um, Take, for example, somebody who wins the lottery. They know they've got that money coming to them. It's on its way. They know they won. But it may take anywhere from 4 to 6 months before the lottery corporation actually pays that money out to the person. So that's the type of energy of this Page of Pentacles, where they're bringing the good news that. So, another example that's a little bit more relatable for you, Gemini, and that's comes back to this four of the four here. Um, Page of Pentacles would be like you work for a company and you've worked for them for a very long time. And the Page of Pentacles comes in and says, hey, you're getting a raise. And you're going, yippee. But it's not going to show up on your paycheck for 6 months. There's a delay because it has to go through HR and all the rest of that stuff. All right. So that's part of the unexpected here. And then finally, in your unexpected, you have the Lovers. Okay. The Lovers card is about partnerships. Now, for those of you who are single and seeking, this may indicate a romantic partner is on its way into you. For those of you who are in committed relationships or just not interested in a romantic partnership at this time, this card may indicate a partner, business partner, may indicate a mentor coming in, any of these types of energies coming in. But again, remember, everyone has value. And one of the partners that may be coming in may be bringing you information that you're well advised not to reject, even though it may not sit right initially. All right, Gemini, let's look at your final general overall outcome here with a reading that has gone all over the place. All right, we have the Eight of Pentacles coming in. Eight of Pentacles is about hard work. It is about putting in the work that needs to be put in order to be able to achieve success. Eight of Pentacles is about our life sometimes feeling a little bit ordinary and routine. And yet, after a reading like this, that's okay, Gemini. But the Eight of Pentacles can also indicate a time when perhaps taking some seminars or training courses or upgrading our skills are also suggested at this time. And then, Gemini, you have the Abundance card. This is the King of Pentacles coming in. King of Pentacles always brings with him abundance. He is the richest king in the deck. But as with all kings, all of the kings when a king appears in the tarot, it can be perceived as them being a mentor or somebody bringing advice. King of Pentacles brings you advice to get out there, work towards the abundance. It's not going to come to you just because you sat in Gaya Mudra and wished it. You have to do the work in the physical 3D world as well. And this may be advice that you don't want to hear. All right, Gemini, that was a reading that took a lot of twists and turns. If I were to just wrap it up, I think really when I'm looking at all of these cards spread out before me, Gemini, you have an important decision that you need to make. And you may be delaying making that decision because you've received some information that you didn't want to hear. You needed to hear it, but you didn't want to hear it. And so for a period, you're rejecting the advice, which is making your decision that much harder. Once you actually make the decision, once you let go of carrying around somebody else's burdens, once you have the capacity to really, really balance your own budget and not crave what other people have, and you really, really embrace the energy of the Three of Pentacles, going after your passions, you're going to step right into the energy of this King of Pentacles and the Abundance card. Okay. Now, Gemini, your yes, no question. Pose your question in your mind. Think about your question. Ask it 2 or 3 times in your mind. Some people like to close their eyes as they're doing this. And I'm just going to shuffle this deck until a card jumps out, and a card just jumped out as I was saying that. All right. In response to your question, Gemini, your answer is listen to your intuition. Oh my goodness. Did you have that in your reading? Yes, you did. You had the Four of Winter, Four of Swords, the little hermit. Go within. The answers are within. There you go. All right, Geminis, thank you so much for being here and watching all the way until the end. If the video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing. And as always, if you are interested in a private consultation with me, all of my contact details are down below. Take care, and I look forward to having the opportunity to do your next reading for you in the middle of April.